Well, good morning everybody. So this morning I am quickly putting together one of the loaves that I want to try for Christmas. This will be a cinnamon raisin loaf. I'm putting this together today and I'm not using my mixer because I want you to know that you don't have to have a stand mixer to make bread. So let's get started. So we're going to start with 1.5 cups of warm water. I'm going to do 3/4 of a teaspoon of yeast, which I think I'm just going to do half. This recipe calls for 1, but it's one of these recipes that has to raise for, 12. This one says 12 to 18. The other one that was similar to this said 12 to 24, and I don't want to have to get up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning to bake this. So I'm going to just do the half teaspoon of yeast, and hopefully then it won't overrise. So this is something I use when I have to mix by hand. This is called a Danish dough whisk, and it really does work well. So I'm going to mix that into the water, and to that I am going to add 3 cups. This is all-purpose flour. I never buy bread flour. I probably should, but it's probably more expensive. I'm making these a little less than a cup, just a scant cup. Because as you'll see in my peasant bread video, which I will link up here somewhere, I typically like to do recipes that measure this by weight, and this one does not. So I'm putting in half a teaspoon of salt, it's 3/4 of a cup of raisins. So I'm using my 1 cup measure, but I'm just going to go a little light. And 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. 1, 2, 3, and I need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Almost out. 1, 2, and I'm just going to put about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cloves, just for that little extra pickup. You don't have to. This recipe didn't have it, the other one did. Now the thing that's cool about this recipe is it's all done in this bowl, and I'm actually going to leave it to rise in this bowl and bake it from this bowl. Like, it'll go right from here into my Dutch oven. And you're just mixing it together to get everything combined, and this dough whisk does a really good job. So you're going to end up with kind of what they call a shaggy dough. So it's not going to be firm like my one for the peasant bread was. Even this is hard on my shoulder, and this dough whisk really does a much better job than just a spoon or okay. So this is a shaggy dough. This is a little wet, but very sticky. And now I'm going to cover this and let it sit till tomorrow morning. Out on the counter. Hopefully it's not going to rise much bigger than this bowl. Just want to make sure all the spices are worked in. And that's it. And I'm going to take my little shower cap thingy, put it over, and let it sit overnight on the counter. Good morning, everybody. I'm just doing a quick update here. This bread has sat all night long. I've just taken it out this morning. It's early, so I took it out of the bowl, and it's quite sticky. It's a wet dough, not as wet as some, but shaped it, put it on a floured surface, kind of shaped it into a somewhat ball, and now I'm going to bake it for about 20 minutes at 450. After shaping it, I've let it sit for about 20 to 30 minutes, resting while the pan is heating in the oven. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut an X in the top. And honestly, I'm a little nervous about this loaf. I really feel like it should have risen more, and not sure how it's going to turn out. Glenn's co-worker might just get a gift certificate. But let's just proceed and see what happens. So I have my hot Dutch oven. So hot. And I'm just going to lift the loaf using the parchment paper. Do not touch the sides of this. And we will see how this goes.